Hello and welcome to this late morning taste challenge. I have two Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys. Both are from Heaven Hill. And this is Evan Williams Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, the so-called green label. That's not the official name. The official name is just Evan Williams Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This one is genuine sour mash and it is charcoal filtered. And somewhere on here it gives the age, yeah, and age 36 months. Meaning 3 years old. Now it gives you the website evanwilliams.com. There's only one little technical problem. It's not listed on the website. I'll show you that. They don't acknowledge it. It is on the Heaven Hill website under product specification. Now the competitor is the Evan Williams 1783. This is the red, white, and blue American flag, American Hero edition. These usually come out around July 4th, as you can expect. This is a regular size bottle. It's 90 proof now for the last 3 years. 2023 annual release. Now, in 2021, they jumped the proof up to 90. I think it was down at 86. Now, when did Evan Williams 1783 first hit the market? I don't know because it's not trademarked. I couldn't find any history on their website about it. I can try to look, but Evan Williams is trademarked, as you can see. 1783 is not. I guess you can't trademark a year, although I think you could. Small batch is not trademarked. All right, so anyway, they made this with some, they call them American heroes, veterans, current service members, and retired. They gave them samples and they collaboratively picked this blend, which comes from two separate warehouses at the Bernheim Distillery in Kentucky, warehouse 1E and warehouse 1J. Okay, so it's a warehouse pick. So is it the same as the regular 1783? Well, it is basically, but maybe not exactly the same. And the best deal is I got this for $9 plus tax. True story. Somebody I know found it at Walmart for $9. So he told me, he showed me the photo on his phone. Look at this, $9. I said, wow. I said, well, I can't go to Walmart today. I'm working. So by the time I get there, it'd be sold out. I said, but I appreciate, and plus the Walmart he was showing me is like over 20 miles away. Or maybe it is 20 miles. I said, but I appreciate you showing me that. And that's a great deal. It's too bad, I can't get it, but it's no big deal. I said, I got too much bourbon now. And then he told me, no, I'm got to go to Walmart over there later today, he said, and I'll pick it up for you. He said, I got my bottle. I said, well, okay, I appreciate it. So I gave him a $10 bill, which is a 10-cent tip. $9.90 plus 10 cents. But so imagine finding this full-size bottle for less than $10 after tax. It's amazing, but it happened. But it only happened one day because when they put that price on the shelf, it was gone from Walmart that fast. The appearance, they're about the same. The Evan Williams 1783 might be a shade darker, but that's questionable. They have the same I think all Evan Williams bourbons have the same mash bill. For their Evan Williams, 78% corn, 12% rye, and 10% malted barley. 78, so it's mostly corn. 78% corn, 12% rye to give it some spice, and let me get this fixed. And 10% malted barley. So it's a blended bourbon in the sense that it's a blended bourbon in the sense that it's a blend of different barleys. Different grains, but still straight bourbon because they all come from Kentucky. It's aged at least 2 years in new charred oak. It's aged 6 to 8 years, actually, this one. And it has no flavoring or coloring added. Same thing with this one here. It's also 78% corn, 12% rye whiskey, and 10% barley malt whiskey. But what makes it different? Well, it's only aged for 3 years, and they've got it brought down to 80 proof. And it says it's sour mash. They use the sour mash system, and it's charcoal filtered. Now, notice the Evan Williams 1783 does not claim to be sour mash, nor does it claim that it's charcoal filtered, interestingly. Let's go to the website. Do a screen share for a minute. So this is what you find on the Heaven Hill website. Evan Williams green, and they're only showing now 1 liter round bottle. That's the cylindrical bottle, 80 proof green. They're not showing this little travel bottle 375 anymore. They're showing the 750. So they told me at starting Gretna that it was discontinued. But he was showing me a 750 milliliter bottle. So that probably was discontinued, that size, obviously. Now, are they going to phase out the round liter bottles? It looks like they're phasing it out. Maybe it'll stay around in that one configuration. He had a deal for me too at that store. He's like, I'll make you a deal. But it would have been nice. So there you go. Let's go back to this. And believe me, I know it's, and by the way, how do I know that it's that ratio? Because they have it on their website. There's a news release where it gave them ash bill. There's the black bull. Now you see it's coming in. The handle, the 48 100 milliliter bottles, 1 liter bottle, square bottles, by the way, square, 200 milliliter, 375 milliliter, which is what I have for the green, 50 milliliters, little travel bottles, little airplane bottles, 750s, which you see everywhere, 750 CP. I don't know what CP means. Might be some kind of plastic, something plastic. Compact plastic, like it's a compact bottle. Special American edition bourbon, 1.75, and there's a version of 2. So they still have these being produced now, version 1 and 2. Interesting. Let's go to the 1783. Special American edition with elastic tag. That's the one I have, but not the 1.75. I've got the 750. 75, 1 liter, 375, 50, and 750. White, single barrel, so forth. Now we go to the Evan Williams website. Small batch. Pulled from less than 200 barrels, extra uses the same sour mash process. Okay, so they're saying right down there, it doesn't say it on the bottle, but it says it on the website, and that's good enough for me. Uses the same sour mash process and traditional recipe made popular by our namesake. There you go. Won gold medal last year at John Barleycorn Awards. I'm not, but I'm curious to look it up. Double gold at San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Double gold means it was the best of any small batch bourbon. It was the best small batch bourbon. They sampled that in that competition. That's amazing. Classic Evan Sour. Now, these are exclusives. We're not going to bother with those because you can't buy. There's the bottled and bond. Now let's go to the regular one that I could buy anywhere like Walmart. Doesn't say sour mash, but I guess it is. Okay, so we'll get off of that. It's a muggy, warm day outside, but it feels, relatively comfortable. Humidity's high, but got the whole outside of the house clean with the bleach and water, half and half, 50-50 bleach and water. That algae was stubborn, but It took me an hour and a half, but it came off mostly. If it's black mold, it'll never come off. It's like fused into the vinyl siding. But if it's green algae, it'll come off. All right. So the showdown. Now I finished 9, 2, and 1 on the rye whiskey showdown with Templeton 4-year. Templeton 4-year. I did 12 taste challenges. I got it right 9 times. I got it wrong twice, and I tied once. So out of that, I had a 75% winning ratio, winning percentage, 75% correct. 3% either wrong or a tie. I called that one a tie. I called it a tie before I checked the labels because I said they smell and taste the same, and I'm not going to take a loss or give a win on something that's just a shot in the dark. So, and that's what's going to happen here if I get it that way. But I don't think a 80 proof and a 90 proof is going to get confused, and I don't think a 3-year age and about a 7-year age, that's the average 7, is going to be confused. But I could be wrong. They're both sour mash. All right. I ought to bring back Old Crow one day, huh? It's been so long since I had Old Crow. Yeah, smell like regular old bourbon. Mostly corn, which is what it is, 78%. Yep, smell like regular old bourbon, mostly corn. But this one smells more like candy corn, caramel corn. Definitely caramel corn. Why would that be? Can't say which is which. That's an interesting little difference there. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. A lot of corn grits, vanilla, charred oak, a lot of sweetness, a lot of sugar sweetness, a lot of honeysuckle nectar, which is like a sugar. So these are sugary. I mean, all right. Is Evan Williams a well done bourbon? I think it is. Now, some people roll their eyes like that stuff's cheap. I know, and that's the benefit. It's really cheap and it's really good. So you get the best of both possible worlds. You get a very low price and it tastes great. Whereas some bourbons cost a fortune and don't taste much better if they're better. Okay, Evan Williams, this little bottle was $4.99. It's a half size. So 2 of these makes a whole, and that's $9.98 for a full size bottle. The last time I was at that store, I don't want to say the store because you might go buy it underneath me and I won't be able to get it anymore. But the last time I was there, they had some bottles left. Yeah. So none of the glass, just these. So if I go back there this week, I might pick up a bottle because I got to pass by there for something else. So I might bring in a full. But I mean, I'm not going to just I can't keep buying it because you know what? It's going to go away. Taste. Most of the people doing whiskey reviews have told me they've never seen the green. I mean, they have a few videos posted from people I've watched, but it's so few. Where is this stuff sold? I bought the first time I bought it was in Tennessee at a liquor store, and it was like $2.99. That was 7 years ago, but it was $2.99 for that. But in Kentucky, they're a lot cheaper. Those things are a lot cheaper. So I bought the green and the black. They were right there in the liquor store, same price, green and black. I know the black is at least 4 years old. Brought them home and I liked them. The black was gone. I haven't really seen these little travel bottles, these 3-set half size. I haven't seen those really for the black, but I'm sure they're around. I just don't recall seeing them. Have I seen them for the bottle and bond? I don't think I have. Bottle and bond I've seen in the big jug handle bottles, the 750s. Don't think I saw liters. Okay, do these taste very different? Hmm, not really. Not really at all. Now, if you claim you can tell them apart, get your equipment out, make the video, blind taste test. I'll watch. I like watching those things if they're done right. Okay. This here in my right on my right side. This one to your left. This one seems more full bodied. In other words, probably 90 proof, higher proof. Seems a little stronger. Let's see. But what about the flavor itself? The actual flavor. Perhaps there's a little more charred oak action going on. But other than that, I would assume they're both charcoal filtered like they do at Jack Daniels. They drip it through charcoal to filter it out. Like this one says it. It says charcoal filtered. So you've got a big vat with charcoal pressed together as tight as possible, little granules of charcoal, and they start dripping it. Now it might take 24 hours for that one drop of liquid to drip through. Now sometimes they drip it before they age it. Sometimes they charcoal mellow it after they age it. It's up to you, however you want to do it. You can use different types of wood. Jack Daniels uses sugar maple charcoal. And now what Jack Daniels says, well, since we use the Lincoln County process, which is what? Dripping it through charcoal, then aging it, I think it is. That means it's not a bourbon. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Sorry. You can make a bourbon, and if you want to filter it before you age it or filter it after you age it, that has no bearing on whether it's a bourbon or not, okay? This is charcoal filtered, maybe after they age it. I really don't know. It's still a bourbon, all right? And in fact, if you read the bourbon regulations that the US government has posted, filtering is not even discussed. You say, well, what makes something a bourbon? It ain't filtering. A lack of filtering, too much filtering, just the right amount of filtering. It has no bearing on what is a bourbon. It's not discussed. It's not part of the regulations. Sorry, Jack Daniels. You fooled some people, but you didn't fool me. You say, well, they don't call it a bourbon. They call it a Tennessee whiskey. Well, right. You can call it. It is a Tennessee whiskey. It's a whiskey made in Tennessee. This is a Kentucky whiskey. They could call this Kentucky whiskey, which is literally what it is. But what type of Kentucky whiskey is it? Straight bourbon. All right. But anyway, I'm not going to keep arguing about that. That's like an old argument, and that's been clearly determined. There's no wiggle room on that. Some people will say, well, it depends how you look at it. I said, no, it doesn't. You can look at it correctly or incorrectly, but it doesn't depend how you look at it. It's an objective reality. Okay. I'm talking about the Jack Daniels thing. Okay. These are objective realities. Fact. They're both from Heaven Hill. Fact. They're both called Evan Williams. Fact. They're both at least 80 proof. Fact. They have the same mash bill, 78, 12, 10. Fact. They're both sour mash made according to the sour mash process. Fact. They're both aged at least 2 years and new charred oak. Those are not opinions. Those are facts. And those are incontrovertible and they cannot be argued. Now, if you want to argue with me on, well, it tastes good, it doesn't taste good, it's overpriced, underpriced, it's not that great, so forth, that's fine because everybody's got their own opinions about things and there's no issue there. We wouldn't run into any issues there. I really don't run into issues with anybody unless they argue of opinions as facts. That's when we run into trouble, when people want to come to me and state an opinion as a fact. I say, no. When you were in high school, don't you remember those tests where they give you a series of statements and you had to determine if they're stating a fact or an opinion? You don't remember that? That was on the state test, the comprehensive test that you had to take in high school. I remember. I used to like those because, they would ask you, is this, read the statements below and indicate whether they are a fact or an opinion. That was fun. All right. But some people didn't pass that part. or they're obstinate. They know the truth and they don't want to admit it. That's a problem too. So I'm thinking this one is slightly, and I mean slightly better. Okay. I can't bring in my price points because my price points are totally beyond the pale of any regular price point. All right. Most of y'all are not going to find Evan Williams Green Label for $9.98 for a full size. Well, most of y'all are not going to find Evan Williams Green Label in any size because most people can't get it. Okay. Louisiana does. Kentucky does. I don't know about any other states. There's a Jack Daniels Green Label. I can't get it. I have to go all the way to Orange, Texas to the liquor store to find it. Now, over there, it's as common as regular Jack Daniels Black Label. I've talked to people from Texas, and they told me, one guy who lives in Texas since 1998, he's from this town in Louisiana, but he told me, he said, isn't that the regular Jack Daniels? I said, what? He said, the Green Label, isn't that the regular Jack Daniels? I said, no, that's an alternative product. He said, well, not in Texas, it isn't. It's called Jack Daniels number 7, not old number 7, number 7. Okay, I can't get it. Texas does, Tennessee does, and a few other states, supposedly. All right. So what's your normal price point on these? You're looking at about 14 for this, 14 or 15, fair price, but I'd rather pay $9.98, right? This one, you're looking at about 18. I saw it yesterday for $18.99. I think if you shopped around, you could find it for 18, $17.99. In fact, I know where to find a handle glass bottle, handle 1,750 milliliters. That's a regular bottle plus an extra 1,000 milliliters. I know where to find a handle glass for $22.99. True story. Last time I checked. Now they might have changed the price since I was in that store last. Handle $22.99. Not a joke. So if you're smart and you're patient, you could shop this, shop it around. You may not find the American Heroes edition, and that's more of a marketing thing and a charitable thing that program than any kind of real difference. Okay, all right, from what I can see. But yeah. So now the question is: the 1783 worth the extra $3 or $4? I'm not seeing that, honestly. Here I am getting it wrong. I couldn't tell it apart. And I was trying hard. I was thinking about it. I wasn't stalling. I was talking about pertinent issues, but I was thinking about it. I'm thinking this is the 1783. No, that's the Green Label. This is the 83. Am I shocked? I'm not shocked. I'm aggravated, but I'm not shocked because they're the same mash bill. Okay, look, they're basically the same whiskey, aged differently, and one brought down to 80 proof and one brought down to 90 proof. And how do they bring it down to proof? Add tap water. So you basically got the same product in a different format. So is it hard to tell one thing from itself? I think it is. I think it is hard to tell something from itself when itself only has slight variations. Now, do I think I'll be able to tell the Evan Williams 1783 from the other bourbons I have? Well, let's hope so. But I am not in any way confident in that. I have Cooper's Craft. Could be a good competition from Heaven Hill. I've got the peated bourbon from New York City, Kings County peated bourbon. I mean, I'm not going to mix that up because they took a bourbon and they did it like an Isle of Scotch, made it peated. So no, I'm not going to confuse that. That's an easy one. It's not even really a challenge because of the smoky nature, but still, it's a bourbon. So although it's not straight bourbon, strangely, they say it's aged 2 years. But they might be adding flavor and. But anyway, I hope it's not liquid smoke. That would be irritating. So then Jim Beam, you would hope doggone Bellows. I mean, Bellows is pretty ordinary. I think it would beat Bellows. Let's hope so, because I got Bellows for $8.99 for the full. $5.99. $5.99 for a full size bottle of straight bourbon whiskey. think it's a liter bottle. That was the giveaway of the year, that year, 2019. Amazing. Yes, I think it's going to be a really tough taste challenge series. I mean, really tough. So, does that mean that Evan Williams 1783 doesn't actually stand out that much among other bourbons? Yeah, that's going to be my hypothesis. My hypothesis is this: if a person takes Evan Williams 1783 small batch 2021 edition, the American Heroes subcategory edition, and they put it in, and that person puts it into blind taste tests against different bourbon whiskeys in a one-to-one competition, not in a big free-for-all like some people do on their channels, one-on-one competition, then, this is the key point, then me, the tester, will not be able to satisfactorily tell it apart from the others, meaning with a winning record. Now that's the hypothesis. I might get it wrong. I might get it right every time going forward. But I seriously doubt that. Do I have some other Heaven Hill bourbons? Yes. Some of them are questionable to the hilt, like a bourbon with natural flavors called Royal Bourbon. But they made it. It was on the shelf. I bought it at Ralston Liquors in Houston, Texas. I only paid $7.99 for the full-size bottle. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it has a bad flavor. It does not have a bad flavor. But it's about as bottom shelf bourbon as you can ever find. But it exists, and I bought it. All right. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time for Fandango Friday. We're going to examine any liquor or liqueur, and I've got the Roma Sambuca that Anise. I want to try that so much. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Oh, Tommy says, cheers, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. Do you think JB likes... Do I think JB lies often? He actually begins to think it's a fact. I think he knows he's lying, but he just doesn't care. You say, well, that's sort of like a psychopathic approach to life. I would agree with that he does display some psychopathic tendencies. Thank you.